Which of the following is not true? A. You can name an unsterilized cat after an X, then pay for them to be sterilized. B. There are both greater and lesser flamingos. Or C. The oldest pangolin on record was born in and lived in Japan. Keep listening to Formosa Fauna to find out which of those three is not true. Spend the next 20 minutes feeding your brain with Formosa Fauna so you can become smarter than all of your friends. Every Friday is Formosa Fauna Friday. Hello, I'm Tristan Hildebrand, the voice of Formosa Fauna. I love animals and I love talking about them. If you're even remotely curious about the animal kingdom, you're in the right place. On today's agenda, we're going to talk about the Formosan black bear sighting, how you can adopt a pet for just $14 for Valentine's Day, pangolin populations rebounding in Taiwan, flamingos, and the scientist of the week, Walter Reed. Let's dive right in. For the first time, a Formosan black bear was spotted on Sima Forest Road in Miaoli after being caught in a trap. As reported on by CNA and Charlotte Lee for Taiwan News, a utility contractor spotted the bear outside of Sheipa National Park in a forested area while inspecting water pipelines and quickly acted to alert authorities. Rescue teams, including Sheipa National Park officials, local indigenous community members, Taiwan Biodiversity Research Institute veterinarians, and ecological consultants, arrived at the scene. The male Formosan black bear weighed 31 kilograms, was sedated, and transferred to the Taiwan Biodiversity Research Institute's Emergency Center in Nantou. Veterinarians, unfortunately, had to declare the front left paw beyond saving. After the trap, the boar snare caused considerable damage, and the veterinarians amputated it. The surgery went reasonably well, and the bear is now in stable condition. He'll be observed for a period of time, and officials reported that there is still hope for releasing him back into the wild after he has recovered. However, sending a bear into the wild, short one paw, is not ideal, and does bring the issue of these metal boar snare traps back into discussion. Formosan black bears have been sighted near human settlements more and more frequently over the past months and couple of years. It's largely for that reason that residents in the area are urged to manage food and kitchen waste very carefully as not to attract them. This is also not the first time such a protected species has fallen victim to the boar snares. Residents and indigenous hunters can contact local forestry offices to receive free improved trapping equipment that is designed to prevent the accidental capture of non-target species, such as the Formosa black bears. Forget the candy and flowers this Saturday. You can adopt a pet for just $14 this Valentine's Day in the United States, specifically Houston, where one shelter has lowered the adoption fee to $14 for the 14th, so adopters can experience true, unconditional love. All of the dogs up for adoption are spayed or neutered, vaccinated, microchipped, and fully vetted, and ready for their forever home. If the commitment is too much to take on, not knowing the dog fully, nothing to fret, because shelter director Nina Baker says they offer trial dog adoptions for families and individuals who aren't sure but would like to try it out. Depending on the area and shelter, dog adoption fees in the US typically are anywhere from $50 to $500, with $150 to $350 being the most common range. Not only does it depend on the area and the shelter itself, it also depends on the dog's age, breed, and health. Puppies typically cost more to adopt, while senior dogs often have lower fees, likely to encourage families to strongly consider them. Typically, this fee is collected to support the shelter and cover some of the costs they incurred while housing and caring for the dog, including potential medical costs, food, supplies, and beyond. While $14 is very cheap, of course it does cost a decent amount of money to own a dog. Up front, microchipping, collars, leash, crate bedding, toys, food, and water bowls, as well as an initial supply of food, can add up to hundreds of US dollars. So, while the $14 is certainly a steal, adopters should be prepared to pay more to take proper care of their new family members. Long term, there are a lot of costs that will recur as well. If you're feeling a bit lonely this Valentine's Day holiday, perhaps you can consider investing in the true, unconditional love you'll receive as a dog owner. The good news of the day comes to us from Taiwan Review, written by Oscar Chung, which is that the pangolin populations in Taiwan are rebounding. From the 1950s to 1970s, pangolins were hunted for their skin, which was processed into leather for export, a serious threat to populations. Conditions began improving in the 1980s, but pangolins continued to be captured for their meat and scales, believed to offer health benefits. It wasn't really until 1989, when the Act on Wildlife Conservation came into play, that there was a major difference. The act strictly prohibited the hunting, killing, or trading of protected species, like the pangolin. Today, another threat to the species' survival is stray dogs. Pangolins move very slowly, making them a vulnerable target. According to Taipei Zoo, more than half of the pangolins treated at their rescue center have suffered bite wounds from stray or feral dogs. It's been a struggle to balance humane care for stray dog populations with protection for native and endemic species. Despite the new challenges, Taiwan's pangolin population has rebounded and was estimated at around 15,000 in 2017, up from 10,000 in 2014. Within 3 years, the species saw a 50% increase. Pangolins are not just in Taiwan, though. Globally, there are 4 surviving pangolin species in Africa and 4 in Asia, totaling to 8. The Formosan pangolin is considered a subspecies of the Chinese pangolin and was one of the first animals to be listed under the Act on Wildlife Conservation. All 8 species worldwide are classified as threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, making pangolin populations in Taiwan very important to Taiwan and to the rest of the world. Sun Qingmin from National Pingdong University of Science and Technology has spent significant time researching pangolins. 8 years of those were spent living in the Luanshan indigenous community in Taidong, observing pangolins in their natural habitat. Sun was able to produce one of Taiwan's most detailed databases on pangolins, documenting every stage of their life cycle. He said that previously very little was known about them and emphasized the importance of such research and knowledge in enacting successful conservation strategies. Sun has a team of 12 researchers who are researching pangolin habitats, life cycles, and roles within the ecosystem through National Pingdong University of Science and Technology. The team even collects scales from deceased pangolins and tests them for chemical traces to better understand how agriculture is affecting their habitat and livelihoods. This has helped authorities refine regulations to ensure safer habitats for the pangolins. Taipei Zoo is another strong actor in the successful conservation of pangolins, as the zoo is Taiwan's leading facility for pangolin care and research. It's one of just 4 organizations nationwide that is authorized to receive and treat injured wildlife. Taipei Zoo received its first pangolin in 1995, which they explained as very challenging, as pangolins are very sensitive to unfamiliar environments and easily become sick from stress. The zoo's rainforest area curator, Tsai Yu-Li, said researchers have worked to create a comfortable home for pangolins by improving habitats and developing replacement diets for the unsustainable and actually costly, wouldn't think of it as costly, but is costly, diet of ants and termites. She said this effort has paid off. Even Sun has become a part of helping the zoo refine its care, making captive environments feel more similar to what the species experience in the wild. Beyond that, the zoo has a sperm bank to ensure a genetic reservoir for future breeding. Taipei Zoo's Chuanpan was the first pangolin born in captivity in Taiwan, living from 1997 to 2021, making him the world's longest-lived pangolin on record. Another of the zoo's pangolins, Chongwu, became the first pangolin in the world to be raised by humans after her mother failed to nurse her. Taipei Zoo's increasing knowledge of and expertise in pangolin care has allowed Taiwan to go global, teaching facilities across the world to care for pangolin cubs. About 20 pangolins are currently at Taipei Zoo, and over half of them were born at the facility. Much like China may practice panda diplomacy, Taipei Zoo has been able to practice pangolin diplomacy, loaning pangolins to partner institutions overseas. They are certainly fascinating to look at, and I may be biased, but very, very cute as well. Germany, Japan, and Czechia are some of those that have received pangolins, sensationally successful programs that have resulted in increased popularity and more pangolin pups. The first pangolin born in Europe was born in Czechia's Prague Zoo. Sun said Taiwan is proud to share its experience and advanced biodiversity conservation across East Asia. For Valentine's Day promotion in the US, several shelters and rescues run an extra special event. Let me quote their post for you, okay? It says, "Have an ex that shouldn't reproduce? Feeling vengeful this Valentine's Day? For just a $15 donation, we will name a feral cat after your ex, then spay or neuter them, and release them through our Trap, Neuter, Return TNR program to stop the breeding cycle. Give your ex a proper send-off, heal your heart, and help control the community cat population at the same time. Your donation helps provide funding for our TNR programs and other spay-neuter programs. TNR works to help end reproduction in community cat colonies, stabilizing populations, and improving cats' lives. Hate this idea and think we're being petty? You can sponsor a pet too." And that is the end of the quoted post. They even offer a bundle deal if you have multiple exes. A single name for $15 USD, 5 names for $50 USD, and 10 names for $100 US. The event, while it sounds like something for April Fool's Day, truly is very much real, and it has had an overwhelmingly positive response, with some commenters realizing that there are some names at the top of the list, very often repeated, including, I'm not sure why, James, and also Elon. I guess I can guess with the Elon, but yeah, those James and Elon are among the top names being used after the shelter publicly shared some of the names list. The specific post I read was for the Animal Rescue League of Iowa, but similar events are being held across the United States. I have not yet seen one in Taiwan, but maybe it'll catch on eventually. They don't usually accept last names, so the list is just full of first names and nicknames, though. And another trend in the comments was I noticed people are questioning how humane it is to name the poor, innocent cats after their horrible, horrible exes, least favorite exes. If you can name a cat to be sterilized after someone or something, what name would that be? Send me an email. I would love to know. Send me an email at tristan@rti.org.tw. That is tristan@rti.org.tw. I'd love to know who's spaying or neutering this year. Flamingos come in two sizes, two versions, let's say, lesser and greater. They are creatures that stand out with their elongated necks, graceful balance and striking pink color. Today, we're going to talk specifically about the lesser flamingo. When a gathering of lesser flamingos march back and forth, swivel their heads, bend, then straighten their necks, spread, then fold their wings, they are deploying a wide variety of visual, auditory, and olfactory signals. They observe one another and receive messages through such actions. Then they pass them down and through the crowd. Those who study flamingos have been able to identify much of their display, including an S-curve that can indicate potential danger. That one specifically spreads through the flock in a matter of seconds, putting them all on high alert. Lesser flamingos are highly social beings. They do everything with the flock and communicate very well within the flock. They are found throughout Africa, eating microorganisms found in saline water that are filtered out by the bird's delicate sieve-like bills. They can be as tall as 90 centimeters, or 35 inches, with a wingspan of up to 120 centimeters, or 47 inches. Lesser flamingos have an IUCN conservation status of near threatened. Scientist of the Week, Walter Reed. Walter Reed was born in 1851 and passed away in 1902. One of his most notable contributions to animal science was confirming that some mosquito species transmit yellow fever. Walter Reed was born in Virginia and attended medical school at New York University, graduating with his medical degree in 1870. He served in the United States Army as a physician. He also found himself in charge of a massive experiment on yellow fever. As Reed became interested in tropical medicine and ways to prevent diseases like yellow fever from spreading, he was able to confirm through experiments that mosquitoes were in fact responsible for transmitting yellow fever from person to person. Walter Reed is listed as the 17th most famous animal scientist on SciJournal. Curious who number 16 is? Check back into next week's episode to find out. At the beginning of today's episode, I asked which of the following three were not true. A. You can name an unsterilized cat after an ex, then pay for them to be sterilized. That is true. B. There are both greater and lesser flamingos. That is also true. Or C. The oldest pangolin on record was born and lived in Japan. That would be false. So now you know of the three, the first two is true. The third one, if you changed it to Taiwan, it would be true. Of course, this is Formosa Fauna. Of course, you're going to say something about Taiwan. Thank you for making it to the end of today's episode. See you next time for Formosa Fauna Fridays here on Radio Taiwan International.